There we go, Michael. Now we are officially kicking our call off. Go ahead, sir.
Great. Welcome, Senior Solutions Nation, from the shining sea in the great United States of America, where you can come from anywhere, from any socioeconomic status, and in one generation, Joe, you can literally change your life. I'm so proud to be an American, not only on 4th of July weekend, but on any weekend, Joe. And I think, it's all about when you're an American, you have the right to change your life. As hard as you want to work, that's what you can make in this country. But, it's all, Joe, about finding that right vehicle as well to take you to your dreams. You can have all the potential in the world, all the wisdom, but without the vehicle, you just don't get there. And that's why I'm so excited to be part of Senior Solutions and the final expense industry. What a wonderful vehicle that, ladies and gentlemen, I can sort of say this with confidence, Joe, is almost nearly recession-proof. With 10,500 seniors are turning 65 a day. So it's really a mega trend. As we always say, it's a simple business, but not always an easy business. And that's why we're so blessed to be with Senior Solutions that sort of figuratively reaches your hand out, takes you by the hand, and guides you right along the way. As I always say, Joe, and I stand very firmly behind this, if you can't make it with Senior Solutions, you're not going to make it in this industry, because we have a 100% success ratio with everyone who doesn't quit. So with that, again, welcome, Senior Solutions Nation. So exciting on this 4th of July weekend. And Joe, we're ready for some wonderful content this morning as always. So back over to you, friend.
Absolutely, my man. Thank you for that great introduction. Well, guys, this is the 4th of July edition of the Senior Solutions Friday Agency Call. My name's Joe Johnson. I'm going to be your host today. We do this call live every single Friday. It's a live call for our agents. If you happen to be watching this on YouTube as a replay, please There you go. All right, man. Sorry about that. But guys, we put out brand new content every single week. This message is for people that are watching this on YouTube, because we do get this published. Like I said, it is a live webinar, live training webinar that we do every single week. So if you are interested in getting more information about Senior Solutions, our agency, please subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell. If you are interested in contracting opportunities, you can contact myself directly or Michael Mahalik. In the description below, I will go ahead and leave the phone number that you can call or text to get more information. But we've got a great call lined up for you. I'm going to be bringing on one of our top agents with our company, actually a really good friend of mine, Candy Cardona. We've known each other for a very long time. So let me, without further ado, I want to get right into the content of the call. This way we can get through everything we need to get through and get our weekend started. There you are, Candy. All right, Candy, could you do me a favor and just go ahead and unmute?
Hello.
Hey, Candy, you're coming in loud and clear. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Joe. Thanks for having me on the call.
Absolutely. Are you all ready for, you got big plans for this 4th of July?
Actually, I got an appointment on Sunday.
Okay. Well, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yes, I have big plans for the 4th of July.
Yeah, that's very good. So for a lot of people on the call, and I'm just going to kind of, and you can kind of fill in the blanks too, some things that maybe I don't recall. Candy and I go back a long way, well before Senior Solutions. We actually got started about the same time. I think you got recruited a little bit before I did, right? A couple of months maybe?
Yeah, it was a month.
Yeah, about a month before I did. So ironically, Candy and I got started in the insurance business about the same time. We both got recruited by the same person, the same agency, the same person, which was in Ohio, a different state. it was just kind of coincidental that we happened to be kind of close together in proximity. And I'm trying to remember how it is that was it maybe on a conference call or how did we actually first meet? Like we're face to face. Do you recall?
I do. I remember the first time I met you. I don't know even know how it transpired, but we needed to get down to Ohio for a conference.
Oh, that's right.
And you were driving, and I asked you if you would take me, and you said yes. And I think we met off the conference calls. And she had stated that you lived in Illinois, and I did too, and we really didn't live that far apart.
Yeah.
And so you took us down to Ohio.
Yeah, that's what it was. We went down for that. We went down for that training. I remember she had asked me if I could give you a ride, and I'm like, sure. And then we just kind of hit it off and had, you know,
Yeah.
stayed friends. We both left that company and did our own thing. And then a few years ago, you were doing your own thing, I was doing my own thing, and then somehow we reconnected. I don't remember. I think you maybe reached out and
I did. I called you up to see how you were doing and what you were up to,
yeah.
and I knew you'd be I knew you'd be a success. I just didn't know. It's been so many years, and I called you up, and we hit it off, and you recruited me into your agency, and here we are.
Yeah, and that was what, maybe 5 or 6 years ago?
Yeah, like 6 years ago.
6 years ago. Yeah. Well, it's been fun. So, uh, Candy and I are, really good friends, and we got a great relationship, and so it's really,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's always great to see you and to talk to you. So, and I really appreciate your friendship, and I really appreciate you taking the time to be on the call. So just a couple of things, Candy, and you can talk about whatever you want, whatever you think is appropriate. The main reason why I wanted to get you on the call is just kind of really to kind of pick your brain and kind of find out what it is that you're doing, and maybe talking about different lead sources. I know you've worked many different leads. Maybe we could start there. Could you talk about maybe some of the different leads that you have worked, and what what leads do you prefer, and maybe what type of lead choices, what leads do you have the most success with?
Well, I purchase my leads through Need a Lead right now,
Okay.
and that's what I really prefer. I've worked internet leads, and um, I didn't feel they were very lucrative. So I've been working these Need a Lead leads,
Yeah.
and I just get up, and you know what? I get up at 4 in the morning, Joe. If you ever get a text message from me at 5, you know it's
Yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And I get up at 4 in the morning, and I plan my day out. I set up all my leads into an app called Route for Me. Now,
Okay.
I know that other people use other apps, but this is the one I got familiar with and comfortable with.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm familiar with Routes for Me.
Yeah, it's a little more expensive than the other one, but I didn't care. It's all a tax write-off anyways. But anyway, so I program them into my Route for Me app so that way I can get to the first client first and the second, and I'm not running around in circles because I've done that before too and it wasn't productive.
Yeah.
So then I get all my leads together. I make sure I have all my applications in my bag, and I have my name and my agent number pre-filled out on them. So I'm not clueless if I have to do a phone interview of what my agent number is, because we work with so many companies, it could be confusing at times.
Yeah. Yeah. They can be.
Also, I took 2 years off during this COVID, and so I started back, I want to say in January,
Hmm.
and
Sounds right.
It was hard because so many things have changed. We do paperless applications now. We do electronic applications. Um, we work with different companies that I was used to working for before. So it was like starting all over again. And I really want to thank you so much, Joe, because I call you every day, at least 2 to 3 times a day, because I have to know what I'm doing, and I have to know how to place these people so I can get them issued and get paid.
Right.
And it's just, it's amazing because every time I call you, you pick up the phone, Joe, and I really do appreciate that.
I try. I know
Yeah,
sometimes you get on me for, but think about Candy. She's persistent. If I don't pick up the phone, like if I'm, because usually if I like, and Michael will contest to this, is like I a lot, you know, I because Michael and I talk a lot on the phone, and I'm like, dude, Candy's calling me. I gotta go. You know what I mean? So I try to
yeah,
always click over. But one thing I will say, that if I don't pick up, like you blow my phone up until I do pick up. So kudos to
yeah.
you for being persistent.
Yes, because I was taught by somebody very well that and it was you, that if you don't answer on the first ring, to call back until you do. That's how
Hmm.
we dial our leads, right?
Yeah.
So it typically works with Joe Johnson as well.
Hmm.
But yeah, so anyways, um, I prefer to work the needle leads. I've worked the
Just
leads.
Candy, real quick. So there may be some people on here that are not familiar with needle leads. So just explain what type of leads are you getting from needle lead?
Okay, I'm getting final expense leads. Is that what you're asking me?
Well, are they direct mail, digital leads, telemarketed leads, Facebook
Oh, they're
leads?
direct mail. They're direct
Yeah,
mail leads.
okay.
So they directly mail them to the client. The client, if they're interested, they fill it out and they send it back, and then they email it to me and mail it to me.
Yeah, so with needle lead, you get the when they do the direct mail campaign, when those leads come back in, they scan them, you get an email and they go into your CRM system. And then also they mail you the original hard copies as well, correct?
Right, correct.
Which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, when I work my leads through Needle Lead, I like working them, you know, as soon as I get them, but sometimes there's people you can't get to. And then when I get the hard copies in, I'll substitute, I'll throw away the Xerox copy and I'll keep the original copy and go work those for the people I hadn't had a chance to get in touch with. Do you do the same thing?
Yes, absolutely. Because when you show them exactly what they filled out, they freak out because a lot of times, we do work with seniors, they forget.
Yeah.
So it's important to show them the lead card so they can see, yeah, that's my signature. I filled that out.
Yeah, yeah. And what's cool about Needly too is that you like, um, there's one thing about having a photocopy of the card they filled out. There's another thing, it's even more powerful when you have the actual card with live ink on it, like
Right.
like the original card that they filled out, because they know, I mean, you can't fake that. You know what I mean? That you can't BS that. That's the real, it's the actual card they filled out. It's really very powerful to do that.
Yes, absolutely.
So you would say you preferred the direct mail leads over the other lead types that you've worked?
I do.
Um, and why? You have a higher closing ratio. It's a
Yes,
higher
I have
intent
a higher
lead.
closing ratio. Yeah, I have a higher closing ratio because once you show them the lead, then they let you in the door because they did fill it out and it is a concern of theirs. So
Right.
they let you in the door.
Yeah, very good. And as far as prospecting, you talked about door knocking. What about doing preset appointments? Do you ever, can you walk us through? Do you do dial sessions where you call to preset appointments as well?
Well, what I first do is I get my leads and I door knock them. I don't call them first
Okay.
because every time I seem to call clients, they blow me off. I'll get to their house and they won't be there.
Yeah.
So it's just a waste of my time. So I prefer to go out and door knock because you catch them when they're home. You can show them the lead card. It's their signature. And I simply tell them, hi, I'm Candy Cardona. I'm a licensed field underwriter by the state of Illinois. You filled out this card and mailed it into our company regarding the final expense program, remember? And then I show them the card. And they're
Okay.
like, oh, yeah, I remember. I said, it takes me about 5 minutes to go over the plans available to you. May I come in? And most of the time, I'm in the door.
All right, Candy, could you do me a favor? It sounds so simple. Can you give us your door knock script one more time?
Sure. I knock on their door and they come to the door and I hold my badge, by the way. I wear my name badge.
Okay.
And I said, hi, my name is Candy Cardona. And I show my badge. I said, I'm a licensed field underwriter by the state of Illinois. You filled out this card, and then I get the card and show it to them. And I always have my sticky notes with me too, because you don't know if they're going to be home or not.
What's a sticky
So
note?
you don't, a
The door
sticky note,
tags? The
door tag, yes.
Okay.
I always have it with me and a pen as well, because sometimes, if they can't meet with you or the phone number's not on the lead, then I'm right there with a pen able to write it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so what I do is I tell them I'm a licensed field underwriter by the state of Illinois. They filled out this card, sent it into our company. It takes me about 5 minutes to go over the plans available to them. May I come in? And truly, Joe, it's that easy. You just got to get away from your own fear.
All
And
right.
your fear
Do me a
fear
favor.
is the unknown.
Do the door knock script one more time, but this time do it uninterrupted without narrating, like just as if you're doing like a real door
Okay.
knock and without explaining anything.
Okay. Knock, knock, knock.
Okay, I come out to the door. Hello, can I help you?
Hi. Yeah, how are you?
Just fine, thank you.
Hi, that's great. My name's Candy Cardona, and I'm a licensed field underwriter by the state of Illinois. And you filled out this card and mailed it back to us regarding the new state regulated final expense program. And I show them the card, and they're like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, it takes me about 5 minutes to go over the plans available to you. May I come in? And they say
That's it.
yes.
Okay. All right. Would you say using that door knock script that what's your success rate of either getting in right then and there, or maybe they're busy, you need to preset appointment? Would you say you get into most of the people, or how many people? Yeah, I'm sure you don't have the exact numbers, but
I don't have the exact numbers, but I
how
would say it's about
successful are you with
80%.
your leads that like how many times do you get in versus not getting in?
I would say it's like 80%, Joe. I
Got it.
mean,
Pretty high.
typically it's very high because you're going to their door. If they're not busy or they don't have a doctor's appointment, they're gonna let you in. They want to get this taken care of. And it's a lot better than getting a phone call and setting up an appointment. You don't know if they're not going to be feeling good that day or whatever,
Yeah. 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 No,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I do the same thing, Candy. I mean, it's what, if I'm working fresh leads, well, any type of lead, I mean, my theory is like, why screw it up with a phone call? Take it to the house first, door knock them, get all the easy ones out of the way. And the ones that I can't reach, the ones that don't, of course, you're talk about leaving the door tags. We leave door tags, and The harder ones, those are the ones I'm calling to try to preset, call back and do preset appointments and get back to those. But I've always been a big believer in getting the easy ones, like getting all the laydowns or the low hanging fruit, knocking out all the easy leads in the beginning, and then doing the phone calls. I know a lot of agencies, they teach doing preset appointments, which is great, but a lot can happen. I mean, when you're making phone calls, that's one way of contacting a client, but a lot of bad stuff can happen over the phone. They can think you're a telemarketer. They can hang up on you. They can say they're not interested. And what happens a lot of times, if you get a lead, even a fresh lead, because we teach our agents, listen, if you make a phone call and they shut you down and say, hey, I'm not interested, they probably think you're a telemarketer. You should go door knock that lead anyway. That's the advice we give, but I know a lot of agents don't do it. I know once they get shut down on the phone, they kind of get discouraged. Oh, they're probably not going to buy anyway. I don't want to show up. Or you can have what you think is a really solid appointment, and then you go there and you get porched or you get no-showed, which is discouraging. The beautiful thing about taking the physical lead and going to the house is that they're there, you're there. There's nothing that can go wrong. Either you're going to get in the house, or you're going to preset appointment, or you're going to resolve the lead. They're going to tell you they're not interested anymore. They change their mind, forget about it, take them off the list, which is fine. I'd rather have that and have the lead resolved versus having some lead, a lead that's, a month old that I've been calling 10 times a day for 30 days and I can never get a hold of them. To me, that's the most frustrating thing in the world. So I am a big component, big believer in door knocking the leads first, getting all the easy ones out of the way, and then working the phones. As far as the door tags go, can you talk a little bit about what how do you approach the door tags, and how many people actually call you back that you leave a door tag with or on their door?
What I do is, I ring their doorbell, and if they don't answer, I knock on their door hard. If they still don't answer, I wait a little bit, because I used to be really fast, and then people would come to the door and call me back as I was pulling away. So I realized that you have to stay there a couple minutes. Okay. So then I fill out the door tag, and I have my name and my phone number pre-filled out on these door tags before I even get to these homes. Like, I'm up at 4 a.m. preparing all this stuff, because I don't want to scribble my name or scribble my phone number on a door tag, because they're kind of hard to write on this little sticky note.
Yeah.
So I have them pre-filled out nice and neatly so they can see my name and number, so there's no confusion. So then I fill out the door tag and I stick it on their front door. I'll fill out another door tag and I'll stick it on their garage, because I don't know what door they're going in. I know I go in my garage door. I don't go in my front door. So I stick a couple of them on there so they can see I've really made an attempt to come out. This has got to be important. And I would say about 90% of the time, people call me back.
Wow, that's really high. That's a higher number than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's about 90% of the time they call me back. I'll get that 1% that doesn't call me back, and I'll door knock them 3-4 times. I'm not kidding, because you can't go in the morning time and expect them to be home every morning. You got to go in the afternoon too. So I'll go back and I'll go at like 4:30, 5 o'clock and door knock them again. I'll also look at the lead, and if the lead shows they're 70 years old, they're probably there in the day. But if the lead shows that they're 55, They're probably working and they get home at 4 o'clock. So you got to be persistent and go out there and really door knock.
Yeah, too, a good tip too is to on the lead or on the back of the lead, if you're door knocking the leads is you probably do this. I would always write myself little notes as far as
Oh,
like
I
what,
do.
yeah, what time I door knocked it. The other thing too is that I don't know if you remember back before that company that we worked for initially, before we had the official door tag notes. Do you
Yeah.
remember the sticky note, the technique? Do you recall that at all?
I don't recall. I'm trying to think back. It's been so long.
Yeah,
Um,
so before we had these, where are they? I think here, I got one right here. This is FYI for those that don't know. I'll hold this up. This is what we call the delivery notice. We call them door tags. But Candy, before we actually had these pads, these door tags, what I would do is I made my own delivery notices. And initially what I would do is get like the sticky notes, like the neon orange or neon, like yellow. And just with a Sharpie, I would write on there, I have your package, call me, and put my phone number. And people would
nice.
call.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. And then, of course, we got more sophisticated and got evolved. Now, we have these, the delivery notices, which work really well as well. The one thing I just want to go back and I just want to expand on and give people a tip as well, because it sounds like you're already doing this, is when you're, and it kind of goes along with the same theory of when you're booking appointments over the phone, that we teach agents to do the triple dial. You get your lead, you call the number, you let it ring a couple of times, you hang up, you call back, you do that 3, 4, sometimes 5 times. I'll do that. Well, the same goes with door knocking. So the thing about door knocking is you can't just go up to the door, ring the doorbell, knock it, say, okay, nobody's home, and go back to your car. There's a good chance they're there. They know they heard you knocking. They're just waiting for you to go away. Okay.
Right.
Just like you had mentioned, like you would be leaving, then they would call you, right?
Yes. Yes.
So if you just hang out an extra 5 minutes, like knock on the door, ring the doorbell, you can even do your door tag, stick it on the door, do what you need to do, but don't leave and then door knock again. Sometimes in their you know sometimes seniors can be really slow getting to the door. Okay.
Exactly.
Sometimes if they see you leave something, maybe they're waiting for you to leave so they can come out. But if you can't kind of hang around and stay on the porch or wherever it is, the front stoop, the side door, and you just keep knocking and you're persistent, a lot of times they're home and you can catch them there, and you can have that conversation with them. So just a little bit of a tip: don't be in a hurry to rush off when you're door knocking. Give people at least a couple of minutes, 3, 4 minutes to actually come out and see who was there. As far as the in-home presentation, anything you're doing that's different than the Senior Solutions model, or do you follow it? Any tips you can give us as far as, maybe how you do your in-home presentation that helps you with your closing ratio?
I follow truly, Joe, is exactly what you teach because
Okay.
I just seem to feel, and I've been doing this for many years, if you don't, you're not going to close a sale. So for anybody who's new out there, go back and watch one of your videos because of the in-home presentation, because it's really going to help them if they watch it a couple times. I don't do anything different, Joe.
You still do,
I go in
you
there.
use the folder, you use the flip chart, all that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we go into the quotes, and that's their main concern. They want to know how much it's going to cost them.
Yeah.
And so that's when I place the call to you to find out where to place them, because we have so many companies, and not everybody qualifies for the same company.
True. Right.
And I get off the phone with you and I pull out my phone, I grab the quotes, I write them down, and I explain to them exactly what it's going to cost them, what it's going to cost them with an accidental policy. I read the quote sheet to them and I ask them which one best fits your budget, and I shut up.
Okay. So how many options are you giving them?
3.
Okay, so are you using the actual 3-option worksheet paper, or do you just write it down on the back of the lead, or how do you?
No, I use a 3-option worksheet.
You do, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Works really well, doesn't it, Candy?
It does, Joe. You
Yeah.
gotta follow the game. If you want to be in this business, you really gotta follow what you teach, because it's gonna work.
Yeah.
If
And
you
then how
work,
about if you don't close them, like if they, well, I want to think about it, or I don't know, none of these, because usually when they say they want to think about it, they're really telling you what you're showing them doesn't fit into their budget. How do you get them off the 3-option worksheet and into something a little bit more affordable or cheaper? Is there something that you say?
yes. Well, when they tell me I want to think about it,
Okay.
I tell them, this was really important to you, obviously, that you let me in your home to show you this presentation. You filled out the lead, the card, and sent it in because you just got done telling me you don't have any coverage in place whatsoever. If money's an option, let me show you what most people do in your same situation.
Okay.
And then I'll pull up lower rates, because these people are on a tight budget, and $1, $5 can make a difference to them
True.
to say yes. So I show them something that I say most people do in your same situation. And I go down a little lower, and typically that works.
Yeah. It's always about the money. So, and I'm sure you want to give some tips too, but one tip I can always give for new agents, if a client tells you, oh, well, this looks really good, Joe, give me a couple of days to think about it, I'll get back to you. What they're telling you is that it's about the money. And one thing I learned from somebody, I'm probably not saying it the way they said it, but if it's not about the money, it's about the money. In other words, it's
Right.
always about the money. You know what I mean? So regardless of what the client tells you, sometimes they're just embarrassed. You give this great presentation and you lay out these 3 options. Maybe they don't know that there's other options available. So the only way to get out of it is to say, well, let me think about it, or let me talk to my daughter, or whatever. They come up with some, it's an excuse, right?
Right.
More than likely, what they're really telling you is that, yes, I like what you're showing me, I just can't afford these 3 options. And it's up to us to we want the conversation, and I think some agents are maybe scared of this, but you want the conversation to get down to the monthly premium. And that's because everybody's a payment buyer at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much coverage they want, whether it's 10,000 or 100,000, it really comes down to their monthly budget. And as senior advocates, our job is to find a program that's going to fit their monthly budget. And then how far will you walk down in price before you give up and know that they're not going to buy regardless? What's the cheapest policy you ever gone down to and sold?
Well, I think the cheapest policy I ever sold was 5,000.
Yeah, how much was it, the monthly premium though?
Oh, I don't even remember now, Joe.
20 bucks a month, something like that,
Yeah,
25
something like
bucks.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll usually go down to like 20 bucks a month, and you know what I mean? But still, 20 bucks times 12, that's $240 at 100% times 0.75. Even at a $20 policy, that's going to put on average $180 to $200 in my pocket.
Right.
That's like 2 weeks worth of gas. I always look at it like I'll write anything. I don't care if it's $20 a
Absolutely.
month or $200 a month. I will keep going down until I find something that will fit their budget. And I know you do the same thing. Is there any advice or anything, any tips, any advice that you could give? Let's say we've got a couple of new agents that are just starting to get started, maybe a little bit of experience. Is there any, from someone who's been doing this as long as you and your experience and your success, any tips that you would give to somebody that's new?
Yes. One is to order leads, because if you don't have enough leads, you don't have people to see and you can't make any money. So to get on ordering your leads, for one, don't be cheap. Invest in yourself, because you're going to be getting all this money in return. It makes total sense. Two, don't be afraid to go out and door knock. These people are nice people. You'll get occasional SOBs that will be rude at the door, but it usually doesn't happen like that. These are nice people. They're just curious as to who's at their front door, and they truly are looking for coverage. If you can just get up and go out there and door knock. And I know it's hard, because when I started many, many years ago, I went and door knocked and I didn't know what I was doing, but I was hoping I was doing the right thing. And it was hard. So you got to get over that fear and just go do it. Set
Yeah.
yourself up a schedule, get on a Route for Me app or whatever um, app that you use to get yourself to your destination. But make it an app so you can get to the first one first and the second one second, not that you're driving around the whole city that you're working in. And then, once you're done doing all your leads, go back around and door knock them again. You'll see if the sticky note is still on their door or not when you pass by. You don't know what time they're going to be home. So you got to keep on being persistent and going back around. Is this going to cost you gas? Yes. Is the gas prices expensive? Yes. But you get one good policy. And Joe, this week I wrote one policy that was a really good policy,
Okay.
and my commissions were $1,700. It was
And
worth all the gas that I spent.
$1,700 deposited or 1,700 total?
1,700 total, and it was $1,584.87 just on one policy. And then I wrote up the wife as well.
You just never, I mean, the thing about it is, Candy, you just don't know when you're going to get that $1,500 policy. You know
You
what I mean?
don't.
Like most of them are going to be $500, $600, $700, probably
Yes.
is the average, but you're going to find those people when you do the 3-option worksheet and it's, the last option. And what was the face amount on that big
It
policy?
was $40,000.
Okay, so that's the whole point of doing that 3-option worksheet, is that you just don't, most people are never going to pick the $40,000 option. Okay, but no one's going to pick the $40,000 option if you don't give them the $40,000 option, right?
Right. Well, you know what? Actually, Joe, I
Yeah,
gave him up to 30,000, and he said that wasn't enough for his wife if he passed away.
got
So
it.
then I had to pull out my phone and get another calculation. And I said, "Well, what were you thinking about?" And he said 40,000. So I pulled it up, but I didn't think he was going to go for it because it was $144 a month.
Right.
He went for it because his wife was important to him and he didn't want her struggling.
But I think the important thing, Candy, there is that you started with a big number. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you didn't start out with like 10,000, 5,000. You know what I mean? You started out with 30,000, still a big number. Like usually my
Yes.
go-to number is 35,000 is usually my, my far left number on the 3-option worksheet. But to the point is that maybe if you hadn't done 30,000, he wouldn't have asked what 40,000 was. You know what I mean? Maybe if your top number was 20, maybe he would have said, well, how much is 30,000? But because you showed 30,000, it's like, oh, well, I know I can afford that. How much is 40,000? You know what I
Right.
mean? So the
Yes.
point is that don't be, and maybe you're going to talk about this, but and maybe you can you talk about maybe the importance of when you do the 3-option worksheet is don't be afraid to show a big number on the left. Do you do it like the most expensive on the left? Like you do like high, middle, low? Is that how you do it?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe talk a little bit about on the 3-option worksheet, the importance, and I think maybe some agents are scared to show $30,000 or $40,000, just maybe the psychological part or why, the importance of showing a big number, giving them a big option.
Well, I think it's important because you just never know when they're going to want that. You don't know what they're going to want.
That's
It's like a guessing game when you do this 3-option worksheet because you don't know what they can afford. So you got to show them a low number and you got to show them a middle number and you got to show them a high number worth of insurance. So that way they can have an idea of where each price is going to be. If it still don't fit their budget, then you can always ask them, what were you looking for? And if
Mm-hmm.
they tell you, well, I just needed 5,000, well, then you can pull up 5,000 and show them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
The other
if you
thing
don't
too,
show them the large amount, you're never going to know if they go for it or not.
exactly. Very few people will, ask for a bigger amount if you don't show them a big amount. The other thing too, what I always like to me, it's like when I'm doing the 3-option worksheet and, my first option, let's say is 35 or maybe even 40,000 and it's, $150 a month. But maybe because they're older, the $10,000 option that I'm showing is, let's say it's $70 a month or $65 a month. $65 a month looks really, really affordable compared to $150 a month. So I think when you have that
Right.
huge, when you have that it's called contrast selling. So when you have a big contrast, it makes it makes the $10,000 option look a lot more affordable. And if they end up going for a $5,000 option, let's say for 50 bucks a month or 40, whatever it is, that looks like super cheap compared to 140 or $150. So it's really important for new agents and for experienced agents is that if you're not doing it, get back into the habit of doing the 3-option worksheet because it's a proven fact that it works. And at least it gives you and if you don't close them on those 3 options, then it gives you an opening to find out, to explore, to find out what their budget was. What about agents, Candy, that what advice or what tips would you give for an experienced agent, maybe that is needs a little kick in the butt or needs to, get more involved and get their game back on and get back to the level that they used to be or where they want to get to?
Well, you got to get out of your own head, because that's really what the problem is.
Yeah.
It's not an easy business. And if you think it's an easy business, this is the wrong business for you. You really got to get out of your own head and just prepare yourself before you walk out the door. Don't walk out the door clueless, without your sticky tags and without, you know what I mean? You got to be prepared. And then just get up and do it. It's not hard. It's really not hard. You just got to get up and do it.
It takes
That's
mental,
the best advice I can give you.
and you're exactly right. What we do isn't hard, but it takes mental toughness to do it.
Yes,
You
yes.
know what I mean? You got
And
to
you know
be
what else I
mentally
think
tough.
about? I think about, I have a son who was a salesperson for Yelp, and he got hung up on every day, all day long, and is their top #1 agent. So knowing how many times he got hung up on and how rude people can truly be, I don't like being on the phone. I don't like having to call them because I don't want to have to go through that hang up process.
Yeah.
It's so much easier when you just go out to their door. People are rude on the phone because they can't see your face, so they think they can be rude to you. But
Hmm.
when they're in your face, they're not rude.
Right. I
You
agree
know
with
what
you
I mean?
100%. It's a
Once
lot
in a blue moon,
easier
you'll get someone who's
to
rude,
be,
but
it's a lot easier to be, to, for
yeah, people
someone
can
to
be
be rude
bullies
on
on
the
the
phone.
phone.
What was
Yeah,
that?
people can be bullies on the phone,
Yeah.
but when they're in your face, they didn't dare say half the things they say to you on the phone. It's like a computer screen. You
Right.
can say all you want on Facebook or whatever, but are you going to say it to somebody's face? No.
Mhm.
So don't be afraid. Just go out there and be prepared and go do your door knocks. And I'm telling you, you'll be successful. And if you're ever clueless, pick up the phone and call Joe. He will take your call. He will be there for you. He will guide you in the right direction, tell you the right place to put them, answer any of your questions before he hangs up with you. And I do this every time I'm in a client's home, don't I, Joe?
Yes, you do.
Yeah. At first, I thought I could handle it myself when I came back, and I was getting a lot of Gerber apps, and I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. I need to be calling Joe because there's got to be another way.
Yeah.
And I called you, and you tell me what company to put them with, and we get them approved, don't we, Joe?
Yeah, I was going to say, what's generally speaking, what's your success rate of getting the client with the recommendation that we make? Like what percentage of those apps actually go through, because I know all of them don't go through. You're going to get people that something's going to pop up on their MIB or their prescription history, but what percentage would you say, once we identify, we do our field underwriting analysis, what percentage of those actually, once you submit it, actually get approved as applied for?
Joe, I know you're going to think I'm telling a fib, but I am not. I have not had one since I've been back, not one client that has not been approved. Not one.
Really? So you're 100%.
Yes, I'm serious.
All right, well, that's good. We're doing a good job, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're the other thing too is that we're preventing, I think, in a lot of cases, because sometimes it's easy to, when you're in the house and they bring out their basket or their igloo cooler with 50 medications, it's easy to get overwhelmed and just say, well, I have to go Gerber, or guaranteed.
Right.
You know what I mean? I understand that, but by
And
going through,
if they have severe diarrhea of the mouth and they're telling me, yeah, I had this, I had that, I had this happened, this, then you got to go Gerber. But I mean, for the most part, I haven't had to go Gerber this month at all
Yeah, that's
because I
good. The
called
least
you.
amount of Gerber we can do, the better. I mean, we love Gerber. I mean, it's a great carrier
Yeah,
for guaranteed issue, but I mean, if we can get the client approved with a better policy, plus our commission is like over twice the amount, you know what I mean? You're getting paid at least twice the commission, plus advanced commissions and better renewals with other carriers. It's better for the client, it's better for the agent. We're better off digging in a little bit deeper and asking those tough questions and getting the client placed with the right carrier. All right, Candy. Well, anything else you'd like to share before we end the call? I think it's been a great call. You've given a lot of insight on your success and a lot of good tips for people to go out there and just follow the system and to do it. But any last words you'd like to give before we end the call?
yes. I'd like to say thank you so much for having me on the call, Joe. I truly appreciate it. And for all the new agents, or even maybe if you're an older agent and you're struggling like I was when I came back, just rewatch some videos before you go out if you didn't get it off this conference call. And go out there and just do it. I promise you, you will be so happy you did at the end of the day.
Awesome. Thanks, Candy. Thanks for being my friend. Thanks for being on the call. Appreciate you. And all right, everybody. It was a great call. Thanks, Candy. And everybody have a great 4th of July weekend. Bye. Thank you. Bye, Candy.